It took us a while, but we finally made it back. The gang is all back together, and this time, the monsters are real. Except for when Shaggy turned into a werewolf. And when Shaggy and Scooby met the Grimwood kids. And when Shaggy, Scooby, and Daphne went after the 13 ghosts. But this time the monsters are real. They're totally the first thing to ever make the monsters real. Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island is the first proper direct-to-video Scooby-Doo movie. This film, in addition to actually being really freaking good, saved the Scooby-Doo franchise as a whole. The franchise had received diminishing returns, and it lost its Saturday morning slot after a pup named Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo and Arabian Nights ruining the perception of Hanna-Barbera as a whole didn't help things either. So you can thank both reruns of the original cartoon in the 1990s, along with Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, for us even still having the gang, for better or for worse. In addition, during these times, changes to the cast had been made. As I discussed in my previous video, due to Don Messick's retirement and subsequent death in 1997, he was unable to voice Scooby. Casey Kasem also refused to voice Shaggy unless he was made a vegetarian, and thus both of them were recast. Radio personality Scott Innes stepped in to voice Scooby, while Billy West, who you all may know as Stimpy or Philip J. Fry, voiced Shaggy in this one instance. Both are able to capture Shaggy and Scooby incredibly closely, to the point it kinda surprises me that Billy West was never considered a consistent VA for Shaggy.
I can't pass up a hot opportunity like this.
As far as the rest of the gang, Heather North, who had voiced Daphne for the last 2 seasons of the original show, was set to reprise her role, only to be recast with Mary Kay Bergman, who you might recognize as the original voice for Timmy Turner in the Oh Yeah Cartoons pilot for Fairly Odd Parents. The voice of Velma would go to BJ Ward, who had originally voiced her in the Johnny Bravo crossover episode. The only original voice actor that returned from the show was Frank Welker as Fred, who still voices the character to this day. But enough about trivia, you want to see me get into the nitty gritty of this movie, right? So the story is, the gang all separate. No, it's different, I swear it's different from this. Because they're all bored with solving mysteries, because it's always just some goon trying to commit fiscal crimes in costume. In the meantime, Daphne became a reporter and, alongside Fred as her cameraman, has a successful TV show. Velma owns her own mystery novel shop, and Shaggy and Scooby take jobs wherever they can. The gang all get back together once reports of a real ghost catches their attention, and embark on a trip to the bayou to investigate, with no idea what they're up against. First off, can I say just how refreshing and wholesome it is to have the gang back together again? After 4 movies of it just being Shaggy and Scooby, it's really nice to see everyone get back together, and their reunion is treated as a big heartwarming event. The montage of them on the road solving mysteries, and the reveal that the vehicle Daphne uses for her show was the Mystery Machine is really great. It's just so fulfilling to see everyone get together and solve mysteries again. Also want to give a shout out to Velma's detective work in this movie. She's in full form today. Next up, the animation is freaking fantastic. This is leagues above the first couple movies, all thanks to the animation being done overseas in Japan by Mook Animation. The movements are super fluid, the designs are awesome. I love the gang's new costumes here. Don't get me wrong, classics are classics, but Fred and Daphne's look especially are excellent updates to classic designs. The shading is amazing, the backgrounds are awesome, this whole film just looks beautiful. I also really like the story. Aside from the gang getting back together, the idea of them facing actual zombies and cat demons is awesome. In my opinion, it's always a good idea to make the monsters in Scooby-Doo real, at least every once in a while, just to shake things up. Provided nothing happens that retcons everything so that it was always fake to begin with. That could never happen. The subtle bits of foreshadowing are really great too. Spoilers, but the zombies were never trying to hurt the gang, they were trying to warn them of the true villains, the cat people that steal people's souls to fuel their immortality. And you can see it all throughout the movie. During the chase scene, a zombie hands Shaggy a vine to rescue Scooby, and all throughout, they never really attack the gang. They walk over with hands outstretched, but they never really make any swipes or bites at them, like they never intended to hurt them to begin with. The reveal of the zombies was also fantastic. From Moonscar's zombie gaining its flesh, to the gang realizing that the zombies are real as the rest begin to rise from the waters. Speaking of villains, Simone and Lena are great twist villains. This is how you do it. We get time to know them, while getting hints at their true nature, such as Simone having a cat-looking necklace at the beginning, the almost unnatural number of cats she possesses, her knowledge of the supernatural goings-on in the island, and Lena quite conveniently being around to listen in on the gang waiting to see a haunted house, as if she's done this before. Simone and Lena's backstory is also interesting and kind of heartbreaking, though they still establish themselves as credible threats and irredeemable villains. Not to mention their transformation scene is wonderfully animated, and their attempts at killing the gang are fucking terrifying. Something I do want to mention real quick. People praise this movie for its dark tone and its supernatural and all that stuff, but that stuff doesn't really kick in until the last third of the movie. You see the errant zombie here and there in the first 2/3, but the last third is when the supernatural really kicks in. It's just something I found interesting about the film. I feel like there's one thing I forgot to mention. What is it? Oh yeah, the music in this movie is really great too. Throughout the next couple movies, you're gonna hear renditions of the OG Scooby-Doo theme song, and I'll give those little mini reviews within these reviews. This version of the theme song is great. High energy, great vocals. I love the focus on percussion in this one. The drums really pull it together. It also accompanies a really great chase scene. That's another thing this movie improved on, the chases. The chase scenes are a hallmark of Scooby-Doo media. They're as important to the franchise as Scooby snacks and solving mysteries. They feel so real now, so visceral. Watch this first chase scene, watching this big-ass monster throw shields at the gang in an attempt to decapitate them. Now remember that this isn't a real monster. This is the same old I'm trying to embezzle or steal some money type guy. Absolute insanity. And that's about it really. I can't think of anything else to mention. You all thought I forgot, didn't you? How could I? It's the best part of the movie. The big chase scene, right when they find out that the zombies are real, has got to be one of the best Scooby-Doo chases. No, not even. Best Scooby-Doo moments in the history of the franchise. The animation takes a decent bump. You've got zombies walking towards the camera. It has that neat little bit of foreshadowing in the middle of the song. The danger here feels so much more real with all the quicksand and the crocodiles and the zombies and this angry fisherman that I didn't even bother to mention because he's not really in the movie a lot. And the song, the song! Paratime Again by Sky Cycle is one of the greatest songs this franchise has ever produced, and I say that knowing full well what movie comes next. The fact that this song never got a full release is a goddamn shame. It's so awesome, it plays over the credits. They knew exactly what they had. I mean, come on, man, how could you not love it? The guitar starts blaring, and then they start with music of the screeching of, and now you hear the wind begin to howl. You know the zombies on the prowl. And then the music starts to go low-key with all the trees moan, and the monsters grunt and groan. Ooh, and the chorus. And it's terror time again. Fuck, this movie is awesome. Do I have any negatives I'd give it? Outside of a few minor nitpicks, like certain characters not feeling as fleshed out, like that fisherman, the ferryman that takes them to Moonscar Island, or the gardener, or maybe the fact that it takes a bit too long to get to the really scary stuff? Not really. I'm just gonna be totally honest, this might be the closest thing to a perfect Scooby-Doo movie. And no, that's not nostalgia talking. My nostalgia bait comes with the next movie. 10 out of 10, as perfect as a Scooby-Doo gets. Take a trip with the gang to Massachusetts as next we look to Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. My name is Crit. Thanks for watching.